KEI itself is up around 3% as well. But this will be the century of artificial intelligence as it becomes the foundation to determine the economic growth in companies. These are not my words. These are words coming in from John Chambers, the chairman of US-India Strategic Partnership Forum, and also was the former CEO of Cisco. In an exclusive chat with Shereen Bhan, he says that India will be the largest economy in the world. Listen in.
Well, first of all, it shows you that technology moved from something that the techies did to impacting every one of our lives. So with the internet, changing the way you work, live, learn, and play, when I said that in '93, most people said, no, it's techies talking. It clearly did. As you watch, there's new generations of leaders about every 10 or 20 years. And I think that's very healthy. So it's Cisco for the internet, then about 4 or 5 players for the cloud, and now NVIDIA is clearly leading in terms of AI. And they're kind of like the indication of the infrastructure of AI. If you want to know how AI is doing, look at how fast NVIDIA is growing. And it is growing great. What is it, 540% in the last 2 years. What is also going through is the parallels. The parallels in terms of it changing our lives, changing the future of companies. If you weren't an internet company in the mid-90s, major players like Fidelity wouldn't even invest in your stock. Yeah. Today, if you're not into AI and if you haven't got a good AI strategy and well implementation, investors won't invest in your company, even if you're a manufacturing company or a semiconductor company, et cetera. The pace of change, however, is different. It's about 10 times faster and can be 10 times bigger than what we saw just a few decades ago.
So it's not just the age of AI, it's the age of AI and agility.
Exactly. And I used to hate the word agility because I thought it was a marketing term. But you've got to be agile and you've got to be able to adjust. And so if you watch a startup company today as an example, during the internet era, and even as quickly as 5 years ago, it would take you 2 years to build your product, a year to get 5 or 6 really good references, $1 million run rate, 2 more years to get to 5 million run rate. That was a unicorn in India or in the US coming. Today, you build the product in 1 to 3 months, you get your customer references, $1 million run rate the next quarter, and you're going to hit a $5 million run rate probably in 18 months, maybe 12. That speaks to change, but it isn't just going to be the startups that do this, not just your young Turks that you've been sponsoring. Congratulations for how many years now?
22.
22, wow. So it isn't just the young startups in India or the young startups here. Everybody can either disrupt or get disrupted, but the same thing's going to happen to big companies. People compare it to right before the dot-com bust. I think that is wrong. Now, don't misunderstand me. Are there going to be some spectacular train wrecks with AI and companies that just missed the mode, got overfunded, et cetera? But I'd say, using an American term, I'm trying to learn cricket, as the Olympics hopefully will come to India in the mid-30s coming up. We'll see if we can win that one. But I would compare it to being, in baseball terms, the second inning. So where the internet growth, et cetera, clearly peaked and there was overinvestment in certain categories, Cisco came through it fine, but it was very painful. I think we're in the second inning in terms of what AI is going to represent. I think this will be the decade of AI, and it will be the century of AI. And it will be the foundation to determine economic growth of companies and directions. I'd parallel it, however, to India. I think this decade, and I said this, as you know, I'm the biggest bull optimist on India. You named me that. You named that 8 years ago. But I think this is the decade of India and the century for India. India will become the largest economy in the world. I was the first one to really say that very aggressively. And I will say today, India will probably be, by the end of the century, if we execute right, maybe 90% bigger than the Chinese economy and 30% bigger than the US. But if the US and India work together, that's the other thing that can change. So similarities, it's fun watching the leading tech company in each category. Jensen has done an amazing job at NVIDIA, but I think they're at the very earlier stage in what can happen. I really believe in that company.
And you still believe we're just scratching the surface as far as AI is concerned today, and the headroom and the potential for growth is explosive from here?
It's unlimited. And what you can do with companies and countries working together is also unlimited. So if you think about it in terms that your viewership will understand, while there's a lot of number crunching going on with AI and certain applications that are there, the average enterprise is not even in the first inning on using AI in a meaningful way across customer service, across coding, across sales and marketing, interfacing to their customers. It's just getting started in healthcare. AI will help us solve cancer and cure cancer, not in 30 years, but a large part of it in the next decade. So you're just beginning this cycle, and it's kind of like the internet when you first started just doing or entering orders online or doing a little bit of customer service online.
Yeah.
That was just the beginning. It will peak many years from now, and then we'll see what's next.
All right, interesting conversation there. By the turn of this century, India could perhaps be the largest economy in the world. You can catch the full conversation on CNBC TV18 at 7:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. today. Take a short break now. On the other side.